Hey everybody, Roxabox90 here, back with some Banlist updates and some Battle for Zendikar info. Got some pretty juicy stuff, so let's start off with the Banlist update quickly. For those who follow these things, they happen approximately every 3-ish months, and this one is in July. No changes to all formats. This is pretty sweet because we've seen a huge amount of variety in many formats. With Birthing Pod being removed, Modern has expanded even more than it was already expanding. We've seen, for me, the Nourishing Shoal style Grizzle Shoal deck, whatever they call it, that's probably the most interesting, funky one I've seen recently, but there are many variants and many interesting decks that have been built for Modern. So thumbs up, Wizards doing a pretty good job with an eternal format that still has a large expansive audience. Standard, we haven't seen any particular deck constantly own the format since Mono Blue Devotion was a thing, or Mono Blue, Mono Black Devotion was a thing. Now the format's far more versatile. It's pretty nice. And in terms of eternal formats, with Treasure Cruise getting banned/restricted, it's definitely helped things a little bit. And yeah, not expecting a whole lot. When you have this kind of dynamic, Wizards shouldn't be just havocly banning cards. It's nice that they're able to show that they can control themselves and not just change the format for the sake of changing format. There is one change for those who follow the dual commander list, which is one-on-one commander. It's a competitive format. They banned Mystical Tutor, which was pretty expected given that Vampiric Tutor's been banned in the format for a little while. These kind of instant speed tutors for so cheap that also enable miracle style decks, they are often quite ridiculous in one-on-one styled formats, and this is no different. They've also they've also added to the "we are watching you to possibly ban you" list Sensitive Divining Top and Dig Through Time and create Gaia's Cradle. Sensitive Divining Top makes sense, again, one-on-one format, being able to constantly filter your deck, and it works well with quite a few other cards in terms of synergy. Dig Through Time is interesting to me, but I can see why they'd be concerned about it, and Gaia's Cradle also possibly concerned, just is an insane enabler. They also just adjusted the tuck rule, so now that if your commander is pretty much put anywhere but your command zone, it can be put in your command zone instead. So it's like a new version of the tuck rule, and it's going to start July 17th. So those who follow this format, for me, I've enjoyed dual commander. I'm more connected with Tiny Leaders now in terms of a one-on-one format, but it's still nice to see that they are continuing to monitor and manage this format. Then in terms of the news for Battle for Zendikar, Blogatog, Mark Rosewater said that allies are going to be in Battle for Zendikar. Pretty much, he's pretty much as openly as Mark Rosewater ever says anything. He says that they are going to be involved in Battle for Zendikar. Now, does that mean they're going to be the exact same ally mechanic we've seen before? The problem with allies, while they were awesomely fun in Limited, they never really worked well enough together to make it into a constructed format, and they didn't really have any particularly insane cards to really push them in that direction. Now, I'm hoping that they push allies a little bit much, especially for those commander players who've wanted to run allies and never really were able to quite effectively. They should have some legendaries. They should have some pretty awesome cards hopefully this time around, and they'll probably have, similar to what they've done when they brought back mechanics like Morph, they'll probably play around a bit with the ability and abilities of allies and possibly do some interesting takes on what was already there in the past. And I think it's a pretty nice thing to be bringing to Battle for Zendikar. There's also someone found a swamp that is probably going to be a basic swamp from the set. It doesn't really prove that there's going to be any sort of full art versus not full art. It just looks like Zendikar's taking a beating from the Eldrazi. You see everything's kind of smashed and overgrown. We've seen this kind of artwork before, but not quite as decayed, and I'm sure there's going to be symbols of destruction as we return to the set because of the sheer amount of damage done by the Eldrazi. I'm still hoping for full art lands. It doesn't say one way or the other, but it looks pretty nice and pretty much in line with Zendikar. We also got a lot of artwork for the set, so if you take a look here, I'm actually going to skim down because they don't have it all in one place. We'll just quickly go through. A lot of them are these team ups or team pairings, kind of Avenger style planeswalkers. Gideon and Nissa in this one. They had quite a few. Gideon, and I'm not quite sure who these people are, to be quite frank, but maybe they're new legendaries that he's connecting with. This is from the prior spoiler, so to speak, wallpaper image they've shown us in the past of Gideon rising up on the Hadron to confront Eldrazi. Pretty sweet looking. Ugin and Jace make an appearance here, and it seems like there's some kind of Eldrazi in between them, which is pretty sweet. them teaming up against Eldrazi. That would be interesting. I'm not quite sure who this is. If you guys recognize it, then definitely let me know down below who you think he is. Maybe he's a new character. We have Gideon and Kiora, and this looks like the Bident of Thassa, or similar to Bident of Thassa, so that'd be kind of an interesting little flavor push. But again, kind of these teaming up. This, I think, is our first picture of Ob Nixilis. That's kind of who the art resembles. Pretty sweet looking. I really like the design. Definitely more regal than the original. Very powerful looking demonic kind of creature. One of my least favorite Gideon artworks ever. I hope this is not the Planeswalker art. It's just kind of like that Dak Faden, Ral Zarek standing artwork that was never seen in the card. I hope that's the kind of thing going on here. More pretty sweet artwork, and my favorite artwork that was shown is this Nissa art. It's unbelievable. This could be the Planeswalker art. Now, the one thing to notice here in terms of speculation is that there's a lot of these pairings, and the reason I keep harping on the pairing element is that I wonder if they're doing the flip Planeswalker now in terms of having a legendary creature and then having a Planeswalker flip over. Another alternate they could consider doing is kind of a Huntmaster of the Fells kind of flip ability. Think about it. You have a Planeswalker on the front, let's say Jace, for the lack of a better whatever, or Gideon, right? And then some kind of team up element allows him to flip into Nissa to kind of, if your opponent's creature does something, then it flips over into Nissa, who plays better with creatures, let's say. I don't know, like that kind of concept. Or Jace plays better with spells versus Gideon or Nissa, which play better with creatures. Kind of this back and forth, flip back and forth based on effects. I think that would be really interesting to have if they're going to try to take the flip card into further directions. Just an interesting thought. So we got some pretty interesting stuff today. Great artwork, of course. I'll link it down below. Let me know what you guys think about it, especially allies coming back, which what it seems to be. Banlist updates. You guys care about there not really being any cards that are particularly grinding your gears. Put it all down below in the comment section. If you enjoyed the video, then please tap the like button. If you're new to the channel, check in and subscribe. As always, Roxabox90 signing out. I'll see you guys next time.